They're both bald, but Andy thinks he's not. Andy may deny it, but you know it's just lies, because they're two bald guys.
So, every Tuesday, the mother and father-in-law like to come over and pick Isla up from school. And I think it's really nice that they do that. And so Kath brings in Isla, gets her changed, and me and Tony are chatting in the kitchen. And it's like, we're out on Saturday, Rich, with your wife and your daughter.
Right.
And Robin was there. And that's the wife's sister. And she goes, "Oh, what's that?" So Tony, being the father-in-law, looks at the phone, and Ben, her fella, has sent a picture of his turd.
Oh no!
And he goes,
"Who does that?"
It must be 12 inches long and a proper full-on girth as well. He goes, "I would have been proud, but ultimately, how's that going to go down the toilet? You're going to have to break out the bristle, the toilet brush, aren't you, and break it up."
The toilet brush would be in such a bad state afterward.
It's going to go in the bin, isn't it? I mean, they're like tenner, aren't they, for a decent one from IKEA?
We changed years ago because of Isabel and her arse. We changed.
It's only because I know.
That's right. We changed years ago to buying the Asda ones for 70p because we kept buying a nice stainless one from Next, 14 quid a go. We were chucking them away so much because they were full of clug nuts that we had to just go to 70 pence ones because we get through them. We honestly get through them. There's a few things we've learned about the larger turd. First of all, boil the kettle. Full boiled kettle. Tip that down there. It turns into a bit of a stew, but
it's flushable.
It can help. If not, you've got to get a stick out of the garden.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, you've got to poke it. You don't want it on the bristles of your turd brush, do you?
Especially like I come around for a pee, or after go for a number 2, and it's skidded. What's that? So there's a big turd stuck in between the bristles. I mean, that's never a good look, is it?
Never, never, never a good look. So yeah, get a stick out the garden. Bloody Amy did that. Stick out the garden for one of Isabel's turds, and then she put it back in the garden. I was like, put it in the green bin. Put it in the bloody garden waste bin. What if I'm trimming leaves and stuff? Looks like an American corn dog. Turd.
Yeah, I mean, who wants that? I mean, no. There is a limit to, like, I don't talk about toilet habits with Joe because it's just not done, is it?
Why?
I mean, Joe probably could set the world record for farts. Yeah. She'll probably kill me for saying it.
She's always been like that.
She's been very windy.
I remember at your old house, and we were sat in the dining room, which was right at the back, and there's the patio doors, and she stood outside, and we heard her fart, and we had time to stop talking, look at each other, move the curtain and look out while she was still farting. And we're like,
"Are you okay?"
She's just there laughing her tits off.
Yeah. I mean, Trumps are, I still think Trumps are the funniest.
Your daughter didn't have a chance with you two as parents. No wonder she farts and finds it funny.
And she does. She because we were sat in the living room last Saturday, I think it was, raining as always, and I was like, "Oh, what's that? Hey-o, out!" Because I blamed the dog.
Yeah.
And she kind of looked at me like, "Oh, I haven't done anything." So she, tail between the legs, ran out. I'm like, "Oh no, it's getting worse." Isla didn't even crack a smile or even a laugh. Oh, she was brilliant.
Deadpan.
It was absolutely hilarious, mate. She didn't even crack a smile. And I was like, "Oh, that is so bad." And Joe's like, "I can't smell anything." And I'm like, oh, well, it must be you then. She's like, no, you did mine. And I'm like, right. And then I just went, it was me. I was like, oh! That kid, brilliant. Yeah, poker face.
I'm never going to grow out of finding that funny. I'm never going to grow out of that.
What videos do I send to you and you send to me from TikTok, whatever, Facebook, of people farting? It's brilliant.
It's the ones on the golf course where they're doing the backswing to tee off that I find funniest. Because you see them loading it, right? And then as soon as the backswing happens with the golf club, out it comes, and then they hit the ball into a tree or something, because you can't concentrate when someone's just dropped the guts.
That's true.
But Amy went to bed before me, and then I was still sort of quite awake, actually. But I went up to bed after she'd gone to sleep. I thought I would watch something on my phone. And I was trying not to laugh out loud to wake her, which meant I was shaking so violently trying not to laugh at these clips of people doing the golf farts that I woke her up. And she was like, what are you doing over there? Just laughing at something. She goes, oh, what's funny? Show me. And I thought, I can't, because you'll just think less of me.
Yeah. Yeah. There's certain things that I just think you shouldn't really share. Do you know what I mean? Like a picture of a turd, I think it's going a little bit across.
You've got to keep a bit of sexual mystique in your marriage, right?
I always remember, like, my sister's fella, he'd always send, like, poo pictures. And I'm like, wow. That's what he said to me in the kitchen. He goes, I was absolutely gobsmacked that he'd done the turd that big for starters. And he totally just wasn't bothered.
No.
Literally, didn't even bat an eye. And I was like, my mum and dad would have been disgusted. I can't imagine your mum, like, laughing.
I think she'd just find it really odd. She was like, why have you done that?
Oh, my mum used to say that to Jamie all the time, because he would share it on the actual Fieldings WhatsApp. And my mum would be like, why? And it's like, I think it's hilarious. But I get it. Yeah. I do get it. They're at that kind of age, aren't they, where...
Also, they're quite middle-class women, aren't they? Yeah. Our mums.
They are, indeed.
And that whole toilet humour is just beyond them. That's not really a thing.
Oh, I mean... have you ever heard your mum fart? No.
No.
I've never heard my mum fart. Never heard them
Swear? No.
Like my dad. Never heard my dad swear. I think my mum's come close to it. Do you know what I mean? But, like, I've got a potty mouth. Oh, yeah. My brother is nowhere near as bad, and nor's your brother. No. Me and you are really bad.
Do you know what else it is? It's not just the swear words. It's like the crudeness. Like the place that our minds go to is just horrific. It should be sealed in concrete and dumped in the sea. No one should know what goes on in our minds, because it's the crudeness. It's not just the swear words. It's where the conversation takes us, and you start laughing before I say something because
I know what's coming out.
You thought it already.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just a generational thing, like, or an age thing, because I don't see me getting to an age where I suddenly become more respectable and less crude and don't swear. I remember my mum at 40. She didn't swear then. I think we're just very different to them.
In all fairness, I was very fearful of swearing or dropping the F-bomb in front of my parents because they were that kind of straight-lipped, in that sense, you know. Very, very frowned upon swearing.
I wouldn't have got a bollocking. It would have just been like, it's just not what we do. We don't swear around a mum.
No, we don't. But like Isla the other day just went, oh, bumholes. And I thought it's absolutely hilarious.
It is hilarious.
But I would have never dared say that.
Isabel told me to kiss her ass the other day.
I mean, I find that really, really funny.
I do.
I mean, I don't know if that should be funny.
It's absolutely hilarious.
I'm sure when we release this material, we're going to get some comments on the back end of that.
Kids are good at adapting. They know where they can say things and where they can't, and where they can push limits.
Yeah, I just think I've got to accept that I'm always going to swear, and I'll be a really grumpy 8-year-old.
Oh, I can't wait. I hope I get to be an old man. I think me and you sat on a porch on rocking chairs, swearing at each other while your grandchildren, completely different generations. No one in Britain swears anymore. No one smokes. No one drinks. No one does drugs. No one does any swearing, and we're just like dinosaurs sat next to each other.
So I was at work last Wednesday, and I was speaking to one of my colleagues, Katie, and she went, "Rich, put a few pounds on." I was like, "All right." She's like, "Do you know what I classify myself as? Fat fit, because I can lift 90 kilos on on a bar.
Yeah,
and I've got proper strong legs, but I'm fat fit."
Right.
She goes, "Yeah, I could lose a couple of stone, but..." And I was like, "Do you know what? That's such a great way of looking at it, because I go to the gym, so I'm healthier than if I was sat on my sofa doing fuck all, and so I'm fat fit." I was like, "That's a really good thing." But when your wife turns around and says, "Have you put any weight on?" No, it's not even. I can't go. Well, actually, yeah, I reckon you put half a stone on. I think you could do with losing a bit. I'm not saying that Joe does, but I'm it's just an inert response,
just immediate,
straight away. Mate, yeah.
Now, I'm not saying we're not, but we would talk about that.
You are just not right, honestly. What do you mean? Like, so if Amy goes, "Well, do you think I put a bit on around my stomach?" You go, "Yeah."
Yeah. So
what is that about? Seriously?
Well, we talk to each other, and if I had, I'd either look. You notice it yourself. You think your partner telling you haven't makes you think, "Oh, maybe I haven't." You know you have, right? So what am I meant to do? Just lie?
Yes.
No. That's not. We're both very rational people.
95% of the world will agree with me.
Probably higher, yes. But that's what we do, and it works for us. So we each know what the other person brings to the relationship.
Yeah.
And if something changed, then we'd talk about it.
No, do you know what? I am actually, amazed that you have that open relationship, that you can actually say that, because we'll talk about everything other than that. Because
Really?
Yeah, because I would say that the majority of women out there will have an issue with their weight throughout their life.
At some point, maybe, yeah.
And I'm going on holiday, so I need to lose a couple of pounds. It's that, mate, that it's hard.
But previous relationships, I wouldn't have. It's just the fact that we're both so rational and honest with each other, and that's how we talk. So if Amy said, "Oh, I need to lose 5-6 pounds before a holiday," she'd just get on and do it. That's just what she'd do. And then so she'd say, "I need to lose 5-6 pounds, so I'm going to do this, this, and this." You go, "Great, all right, I'll support you." And that's it. So I just think you should talk about that. Like, I just think an important part of a relationship is you need to find the other person attractive.
Of course. Yeah.
And if you set out at the beginning what you find attractive about someone, and it might not be how they look, it might be anything else, or some people like bigger women, all that sort of stuff, fine, go for it, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you set out what's attractive, and then something materially changes, I think you should be checking in with them. Like, obviously, when me and Amy first started dating, bald head, full shaved, not wet shaved, but really close. I looked like
me.
You, yeah. I wasn't that bad. No, like on a Nintendo Wii or the start of any game where you get the most base model of character.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, that was me, right? And but so when I started saying, right, I'm going to get the hair done and grow that, I want a beard. I love having a beard and that sort of stuff. I checked in with her and said, I look very different from when we started dating. Is this all right? So I thought that was important because something changed. So if I'm putting on weight, she gave me a bit of leeway after I hurt my shoulder because I couldn't train and all that sort of stuff. So as soon as you stop lifting weights, your arms get really narrow, your chest, it's not flat anymore, it's a bit more pointy and titty-like. Exactly. Yeah. So she gave me a bit of leeway there, but I was saying to her, when I can start doing stuff again, I will. But if I was just losing the will to look after myself, I'd expect to say, I'm less attracted to you than I was. And this is a problem with our relationship. I don't want to get to the point where I don't ever fancy you.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a better thing to have a discussion than it is to go, just don't find my husband or wife attractive anymore. So that's why we do it. It's because we want to stay together.
Bravo.
It won't suit everyone.
No. No. It won't suit everyone.
It won't suit everyone. No.
Yeah.
So I know we spoke about this a couple of podcasts ago about trying to get back in sort of shape and stuff.
Mine's gone really well.
Well, you give yourself a hard time. You're never out of shape, though.
No, I know. And I think the thing is, if I really push myself for like 2 weeks, I would see the difference like instantly. It's just that, the middle age spread is just starting to.
You're starting to notice it.
I'm starting to notice it, and when you run down the stairs and your tits literally jiggle, and I don't like it. I like it where you feel the whole pec move, not just your pointy titties.
But you're never so out of shape that it would take months and months. No. You could literally just do gym 3 times a week, 6 weeks, and you'd know a difference.
Yeah, indeed. I mean,
it's doing it though, isn't it?
It is, mate. And do you know what? I watch a lot of like the videos on TikTok where somebody's like 40 stone and they're like, right, I need to physically change my life because I'm going to die.
Yeah.
That is the grim reality of this. Yeah. I'm diabetic, and this, that, and the other. And you see like a 4-year transformation, and they're like 13 stone. And you're like, holy shit, bravo.
I agree. That's a huge life change. You've increased your life expectancy. Yeah. Have you seen the skin though?
That is the issue. I mean, one of the guys that I was watching, I mean, he was massive, like probably nearly 60 stone. He was huge.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a big guy. And he said, I'm now like 14 stone, but I've got 2 stone of skin.
Skin, that's right. So you need surgery.
And you're never going to look the same again, are you, in that sense? Because scars are very hard to...
You say that. Is it Ethan Suplee, whatever his name is? He was in a load of 90s films. Enormous guy.
Out of American History X?
American History X. Yeah, played Seth.
Yeah, I saw that.
He changed his life. He's a huge, strong man now. Mm-hmm. But he's had a lot of skin removed, clearly. Yeah. But he's got loads of tattoos. So you don't see it as much. So it's kind of, he looks incredible. The level of motivation and discipline to keep going year after year is so impressive.
The perception for me is I want them to go, he's in good shape. How old is he? Not, he's a 50-year-old and look at the fucking state of him. Do you know what I mean? Because ultimately, that's what I want. I don't want to be fucking... perceived as that guy does not take care of himself. Exactly. People at work go, oh, we thought you were like mid-30s. Thank you very much.
That'll do.
But I'm past middle-aged. I'm 46 coming up. So there's more years behind me than there is in front of me. And that's fucking scary sentence, mate.
That's a sobering thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've seen more summers than we've got left.
Yeah. And, and I want to be in the best health I can to give myself the opportunity to be old with Isla.
Yeah, exactly right. I completely agree. The other thing I've been doing recently, I watch so many films at the moment. I watch loads that I've already watched because, you try and find a new film and you're like, 20 minutes in, it's like, this is a bit shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch something on the planner I've already watched. So recently I went through the Godfather trilogy, watched all of those loads of times. I went through the new Star Trek trilogy. Love those.
I love those.
Yeah. Mm. So I watched all of those. I watched all the Bourne films again.
Yeah.
I've just gone through so many. Do you know what I've watched recently? Again, was Top Gun Maverick.
Love it.
It's only a couple of years old, but already I've watched it several times.
Yeah.
You know the scene about an hour and a bit into it, that 2 minutes 15, where Tom Cruise goes onto the range to show that course can be done in under 2.5 minutes and says, set the clock for 2 minutes 15. Yeah. I watched that 3 times in a row the other day. I was like, that is such a good scene, incredible scene. Like with John Hamm as the admiral, who doesn't say a word in that scene, but he's brilliant in it, which is sort of a strange thing to say, but he's you can see he's conflicted and looking at him going, oh, he better not make this, and he does, and that scene is just incredible. I love that.
It's a great film. It is a great film.
So I'm of the view that any film before 1990 isn't worth watching. So I know there are some absolute gems. Godfathers is one for me, but I was born in '83, so I kind of missed the '80s films because I wasn't into films as a kid. So all these films that, like Back to the Future and E.T.,
Lost Boys,
all of that, exactly, all of that. If you watch them at the time and then you go back to watch them now, you have all this nostalgia around, oh, remember that? Yeah, that's really good. What a great film. If you watch them for the first time now...
Poltergeist, I've never watched Poltergeist, because if I watched it now, we'd probably sit there laughing, going, look how shit it is! It's so bad.
Exactly. So I've watched one of the Back to the Futures, can't watch the rest because it's so shit. And there'll be people of, my generation go, oh no, I watched it at the time, watched it again recently. Brilliant. Yeah, for you it is. If you go back or anyone from a younger generation, if you go and watch them now for the first time, you'll be like, these films are fucking terrible. So E.T., terrible, laughable. Yeah. This little scrotum in the front of a bike basket. I don't.
Like a little penis coming out with a light on the end.
Exactly. What's that about? All of those films, just so terrible watching them for the first time. The one film that I've watched that I thought held its own was Top Gun, the first one. Yeah, and I watched it because Top Gun Maverick was coming out and I thought I want to watch that.
But it's not fantasy, is it? Do you know, like Neverending Story, those kind of films, you watch them now, and Joe's like, oh, this was my favourite film growing up. And I was like, yeah, because in the 80s when you were watching that, it was state of the art and it was the best thing on TV. Yes. But now, CGI has got so good that you don't know if it's real or not. Yeah. And, Labyrinth, I mean, I watched that. It's like, you see the fucking arm in the puppet, do you know what I mean? And the strings. It's like, that is so shit.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, Top Gun was one of the few ones that probably held its own from the 80s. And then what was interesting about Maverick, the film Top Gun Maverick from 2 years ago, 2022 or something, wasn't it? Was that the start of the film, it kind of takes you back to that straight away. So the music is 80s, and then the font of all the words is 80s, and then they're playing an 80s song, and then it goes to him and he gets his old motorbike out and gets his old leather jacket out, and you're like, oh, that's actually quite fucking cool. So that I thought the way that they linked that back to the 80s, because they know everyone's watched the first one, I thought that was really clever. The fact that he isn't advanced in his career at all, he's a highly decorated captain or whatever he is still. He's still the same guy. I just thought all of that. But the kit was up to date, modern aeroplanes, all that, modern radios, modern tech. Yeah. I thought that was a really well thought through film. Enjoyed that.
In the grand scheme of things, planes they've changed in the sense of design, but you don't look at those aircraft and go, oh, look how shit they are. Like the cars back in the 80s. You look at them and go, fucking hell, they're awful. Ugly as fuck. The planes, they were fucking brutal. Do you know what I mean? That's what I love. Yeah. Flyby, breaking the sound barrier. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's quality stuff.
Yeah, that was well made. That was a really well made film. Great cast as well. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I mean, Val Kilmer, brilliant.
As well as films, another thing I've been watching of loads recently is podcasts. Really got into podcasts recently. Watch a bit of Joe Rogan. I like Two Bears, One Cave. That's good.
Is that some kind of gay?
No, it's not. Actually, it's just two hairy blokes. Really, really funny. Bad Friends. Love Bad Friends.
Yeah, I like Bad Friends. Yeah. Watch quite a lot of that, actually, to be fair. It's my kind of stupid humour. Yeah.
Absolutely. I reckon I look a bit like an out-of-shape Andrew Santino, actually. I keep losing a bit of weight. I might look a bit like him.
I don't think I'm going to look like
Bobby Lee. I don't think we should try and make you look like Bobby Lee. We will get cancelled before we've even started.
Yeah, it might be.
It's a bad shout.
Yeah. But no, I agree. Podcasts. I love a podcast. And just listen to what their view is on life, and it's just great.
Whilst you're doing other stuff, when I was decorating Isabel's room, it was perfect. I listened to 2 or 3 back to back. Great, love it.
Yeah, no.
Just circling back to you mentioned about people watching. I love people watching. I think it's such a hobby of mine. It really is. We were in, me and Amy do this all the time. When we were in Budapest, we had a place with a balcony that was quite central to the city. We'd sit out there and just watch people in cars getting rage at each other. We saw someone on their phone walk into like a wall.
Oh,
they were just busy looking at their phone. I love stuff like that.
I've seen, do you know what? I watched a TikTok the other night where it's like people on their phone, completely oblivious to what they're doing. And this woman just literally walked straight into a fountain. And it's just like, oh, I'd be so that person on the balcony. Me and you'd be like, you fucking dick.
Really would. Really would. Oh, a funny thing happened in Budapest, actually. I realised there's a universal sign between men for she's moaning again, right? I never knew it existed. I'll explain it. Different language, don't speak whatever they speak in Budapest. I don't know. But we were walking into a shop and this couple were walking out of this shop and the woman was just in front of the man and she was moaning at him in whatever language they speak there. And I was like, oh dear. And he did this sign to me that meant she's moaning again. And as soon as I do it, you'll realise it. She walked in front of him and he looked at me and went...
You don't need to understand the language to understand that, do you? Exactly. That's brilliant.
No language barrier there. As soon as he did it, I went, yeah, she's moaning again. That was perfect.
But Isla, the other night, Joe was talking, and Isla just went, I was like, wow. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I thought it was a sign between guys. No. The wife's moaning.
Yeah, no, she was on it, honestly. It was so funny. So funny.
That's brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, facial expressions, you just get, you without saying anything, you know exactly what that person means. Like, she's on one again.
But the people watching, do you remember when we went down to my van and we sat on the decking in Cornwall? Do you remember the woman who slammed her boot shut and there was a chair in it with the legs sticking upwards and we just heard this almighty smash and the back window, it just went straight through the back window, didn't it? And just shattered everywhere. And we were like, oh.
Bear in mind, we'd probably had at least a litre of bottle of vodka by this point. So we was very, very tipsy and that was just like, because she had her head in her hands. Me and you were just going, oh, you can feel her like, oh, fuck, I'm going to have to go into the van, explain to my husband and the kids that, because it was all packed up, ready to go, wasn't it? They were ready to go. Yeah. And she just went, and it went bang.
Just exploded, didn't it? Glass everywhere.
Everyone's been in that position where you just go, oh.
He was not impressed though, was he? He was not impressed.
In my mind, I'd have been like, did you not see the chair leg? That was not going to fit behind the screen. And it doesn't take a lot to pop a window, in all fairness.
And we were already having a great time laughing. And then we saw that and we were pissing ourselves laughing. It was like, oh no, they're going to hear us laughing.
Probably didn't really appreciate our laughing because when we're drunk, we're not the quietest.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's the thing. If you're sat inside, you miss all of that.
One of my favourites, even in the living room, I'm like, oh, who's that? I don't fucking know him. Probably never spoke to him, and I never will speak to them. Yeah. But I'm at the window going, what are you doing? Yeah. Why are you out suddenly?
Well, I don't want to miss out. Something could happen.
Exactly.
What's worse than everyone else in the room sees something and you miss it? And you, what? No, too late. It's happened. Gone.
Oh, great. Yeah.
People watching is great. But I will say, do you remember we went down that you were so battered? That first night, you were absolutely off your tits. I cooked a fucking restaurant quality meal for you.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I was.
A restaurant quality meal for you.
I don't even remember eating it.
You don't remember eating it because you were asleep on the sofa.
Yeah.
I made this like Chinese chicken and broccoli stir fry thing.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. It had the right, not too much sauce, but the right amount of acidity. It was fucking really expensive ingredients, absolutely great. You used to be a chef, so I was like, oh, do you want to chop the onions up? You gave me the tray of onions back. You basically quartered them and punched them. That was it.
Don't remember any of it. Seriously.
I thought, right, you're going to go this way, and then slice it.
And I would usually. Yeah.
I like, quartered it and tried to tear it apart and gave it back. And I was like,
the skin on.
What have you done here? I was like, it's so shit. Then I'm stir-frying, talking to you. You've passed out. Like, mate, this is a proper...
I think, in all fairness, that saved me from having a hangover in the
I
morning.
had to wake you up.
My hangover in the morning was so bad. Yours was so bad as well. I mean, we were
I
equally.
had to wake you up to eat the food, which you didn't remember eating. And so, like, the next day I was like, do you remember even eating that food? And you're like, no. Did you cook? I was like, oh, mate, I'm never fucking cooking for you again, you ungrateful bastard. That was proper expensive, good quality food.
Yeah.
But that did save you because we hadn't eaten.
No.
We hadn't eaten all day.
I think that's our problem. We have the best intentions that we'll get a salad from Morrison's, that's our thing.
It's not a salad, though. It's a salad box, which is basically just carbs and mayo. It's like pasta and rice and...
20,000 calories of really bad...
Oh, I put a cherry tomato in. It's healthy. It's not. It's not.
But, we had that. I think we bought some of those Rustler burgers and some, like, ribs and chicken burgers. But you think, well, I had 2 of those. All day. And we drank 2 litres of vodka.
Did, yeah, exactly. So it's not surprising you feel a bit unwell.
I think a bit unwell is really understated.
So, the people watching, it's one of the things we always do on holiday. I want to talk to you about holidays. Hot holidays, hotel resorts, things like that. You often get the shits.
But I have the shits no matter what, mate, to be fair. I mean, I can have the shits here, do you know what I mean? And have no reason for it.
You were saying last time, head up to the room 7 or 8 times a day.
Oh, yeah.
Wash your ass off in the pool.
Of course.
Oh.
You don't dare go too heavy on the toilet paper in the room, do you? Because, I'm not being funny, the actual, what do we call it, their toilet system is not the best.
No.
I mean, I'm not in Greece where you have to physically put your toilet paper in a bin. I mean, that's just wrong. But, I mean, in all fairness, in Egypt, the system was brilliant. It really was. It handled 3 of us exploding in it, 15 times a day.
That's so awful.
I mean,
so
it's nice. I mean, you kind of think, don't you, when you get on the bed and you go, how many people have actually slept in this bed?
Yeah. But I think the pool's worse. You've got 100 rooms, all using the same pool, all in a bad way on the toilet. I don't think everyone's looked after themselves very well.
I was chatting to, we got quite friendly with this couple, and Isla was playing with their daughter and another couple's daughter.
Yeah.
And the other wife said to the partner that was in the pool, do you want a drink? And he's like, yeah, I'll have another drink. She's like, you've had like 10 of those, like, they're not half pints of beer, but they're a little bit less. Those awful plastic cups.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You've had like 10 of those, but you've not been out the pool. He's like, why would I go out the pool? Well, don't you need a piss? And he's like, no, because I piss in the pool.
Oh.
In front of everyone, in the pool was packed as well. He had no shits. Honestly, he was like, piss in the pool. And I'm thinking, I do, but I'd never fucking say it.
Do you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If I'm at a fucking pool bar, I'm not getting out.
Oh, man.
I'm sat at the pool with... So the water's there, and you sat at a bar stool in the pool, and I'm drinking, chatting. I need a piss. I'm not going to go, I'll be back in 10 minutes, because the fucking tiles around the pool were so hot. Honestly, it was insane. It was burning my feet. I'd go home at night and it'd be like, oh, my feet are burnt.
I generally don't, but the thing is, it's pretty grim to think how many people are just pissing
It's
around
just
you
piss.
the whole time.
The pool is just piss, mate.
Oh, is it a heated pool? No. Oh, why is it warm? Yeah.
And the pool was really warm, so you can imagine they put a lot of chlorine in. They'd come in the morning with like 2 buckets of chlorine, like
change it from yellow to clear.
Because it's like probably 30 degrees. The pool was. It was warm enough to be a hot tub.
Yeah.
At like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that pool you'd get in, and it was hot.
So I don't. I sort of know people do it, but you don't want to know. So like, there was this little boy when we were away in Lanzarote, and he goes, "I need to get out because I need a wee," and the mum just goes, "Do it in the pool," and I was like, "Oh." And then you realise, yeah, everyone probably does. I just don't want to hear about it. And then you get people doing actual lengths that swallow a little bit of water and think, and you're like, I really wouldn't do that, love. Honestly, that's 30% piss.
Well, on the bus journey to the hotel, we're like, if you can avoid not drinking any of the pool water, it would be better for you. It's like, oh, why? It's like you will get a dodgy belly because the pool. Because like you go to the Canaries, you jump in the pool and you become a woman. Do you know what I mean?
It's cold. It's cold water.
Yeah, it literally takes your breath.
Yeah,
As
right.
I was expecting it to be like that. I was expecting it to be cool.
Yeah.
You get in it and it's like, oh, it's actually warmer than the outside air temperature. And bear in mind, it was like 45 plus every day.
Yeah, I mean, you went to Egypt in August, though. What the fuck do you expect?
But do you know what? But I have to, as you know, go on holiday within the holidays.
Got to go away in August, I get that. You don't have to go to Egypt in August.
No, but, I mean, it was our first family holiday abroad without anyone else. So, you know, we've done cruises, I've done skiing, I've done all of that, but it's never been as three.
But anywhere in the Mediterranean would have been 10 degrees lower and still beautiful.
Yeah, and I've never been to Egypt, though. In my mind, you know, I've been everywhere, Andy. Like, I've been Mallorca, Greece, I've done Spain, I've done Gran Canaria, Tenerife, Lanzarote.
All around the Med.
I've done everything, but I've never been to Egypt. Never been to Egypt.
Would you recommend
Didn't
it?
want to go to the pyramids because I've heard awful things. You get badgered, like really intensely.
Yeah, I've heard
badgered.
that. Yeah.
I'd love to go to the Egypt Museum when no fuckers there. You know, I'd love to do that. I love museums. Museums I absolutely love.
Because I like museums as well. I go to a lot in the UK. So go to the ones in London. I like the Science Museum. I like the Natural History Museum, and they're free. You can give a donation, but they're free to go into, which is crazy, isn't it? It's great. Take kids there. Everyone should go to those. My favourite is the Imperial War Museum. I love that. There's 6 floors. It's in London, just south of the river, I think. Amazing. All about different wars, different areas. They have different exhibits, but there was a Holocaust exhibit. Amazing. They've got a First World War floor, a Second World War floor. They've got all kinds of different stuff. Absolutely brilliant. So interesting. And you can spend hours there. Really, really good. I've been several times, actually. The British Museum, though, I felt really uncomfortable in. I will never go back to the British Museum because other museums have got loads of stuff which may have come from around the world. I don't know. But the Imperial War Museum is very sort of British military history stuff. The British Museum is stuff stolen from around the world. And it made me really uncomfortable. So there's an ancient Egypt bit with all of these things that should just be in Egypt. They should be in Egypt. And back in Victorian times, we were involved in discovering it. I get that. That's fine. I think that the official narrative is we'll look after it because we'll be able to preserve it better than you would, which I get 150 years ago might be true. Now, give it back. It's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. I'm looking around all these things from all these other countries that may have been part of the Commonwealth or may have been places that we colonised. But I will never give money to that place again. I will never visit it again. I felt really uncomfortable looking around it. All the things that the whole world thinks about the British and the entitlement and the former power that we were, and the things that you feel like you have to apologise for when you go abroad, were summed up perfectly in the British Museum. I won't go back there again.
It's interesting. Yeah, it is interesting. The one that I really want to do is the one in New York.
Which one?
The big one in New York. I don't know what it's called.
There's the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Met, which is an art museum which is near Central Park. There's obviously the ones around the 9/11 memorial, which are incredible.
I've got to go and see that.
That's a really somber place to be. That's an absolute must see, because it happened in our recent memory. I know it's nearly 25 years ago now.
I was on night when that happened, and I remember speaking to the coppers, and they were like, "I can't believe what I'm seeing on the TV." And we had 2 TVs. We wheeled that ridiculous back projector thing, and we had the live picture on all night. Me and I think it was Steve were on night. I was his second in command, and I was, it was like, holy crap! I can't believe that this has happened in our generation.
It was one of those things that, as it was emerging, you thought, this is a moment in history that our children are going to be taught about. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's very strange, isn't it, that we've gone through some really quite serious pinnacles in our life. You know, like you say, 9/11. You know, there's been some major earthquakes, and you know, the tsunami, Boxing Day. I don't know what year that was. 2005, something like that. I think it was. Hurricanes. You know, we've gone through a lot.
Yeah, I would say though, if you go to New York, you definitely should be looking at that 9/11 memorial.
It does look beautiful. Yeah,
what they have done with the floor print of where the buildings were is really respectful. It's really good how they've done that. Actually, they've dug it down into the foundations. There's water that comes down the 4 sides. It's really respectful. And round the edge, all the way round, are these sort of like boards that are made out of, I don't know, brass or copper or something, with engraved into them is the names of all the people that died. And we walked round and just looked at all of them. And it's such a sad place to be, really somber. So you'll see all the names, and then you'll see every so often Miss Elizabeth whoever and her unborn child. And that's really hard hitting, and I really like that they've respected that there was a life that died as well that hadn't been born yet. But one of the most incredible things was, I presumed a load of firefighters, firemen, firewomen, police died. It felt like half the names were first responders. I was so surprised. So there's like ladder whatever for fire brigade district this, and then all the names. It's a huge amount of names. And then it's like precinct this for NYPD and all the names, and then Coast Guard this because they came in to help and all the names. And honestly, it felt like half of the names were first responders. And I just thought, well, absolute fucking heroes, because they are people who, when everyone's running out of a building, they run in. And that's heroic in itself, isn't it? Absolutely incredible. They're trying to get people out, and they run into something that you should be running out of. Incredible. I didn't realise and recognise how many of those people died on that day. And it's so hard hitting. But everyone should go and see that. If you go to New York, it's part of New York's history. You've got to go and see it.
No, I think that's definitely on my bucket list anyway to do. I think that's definitely high up there. I'd like to see the Statue of Liberty because I like Ghostbusters. And obviously they brought it to life with a psychoactive gel.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I think New York's definitely going to be high up there. I'd like to do it, but I don't like really busy.
It is busy. It's so fucking busy.
I mean, I walked around Paris, and that was, I mean, we went at Christmas, so it was ridiculously busy. Yeah. It wasn't my suggestion to go at Christmas because I'm a creature of comfort, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
My happiest mate is going to be sat on my new sofa, not on this thing, and be watching films, etc.
I'm like you. I'm looking forward to Christmas though. So I like live in my house, heating on, shit film on, don't care. I eat a lot of cheese in December.
I bought some Stilton earlier, mate.
Don't eat much cheese throughout the year, but
Do you like stinky cheese though? Do you like?
no, I don't.
Mate, I've got some fucking proper one where you open the fridge and you're like, oh, I'm insulted. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not a stinky cheese fan, but I do eat. I eat like some nice sort of mature cheddars. I'll eat the Wensleydale with fruit in it. I'll eat smoked cheese, all on crackers. That's a December thing for me. I love it. Absolutely love it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Christmas. I do like that. It's a proper lazy time for me, but it's creature
And then
comforts.
obviously going away over New Year will be really good as well.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That would be really good. Get some people together and just have some time together with a few mates. I'm looking forward to that. All right, good chat today. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for listening to Two Bald Guys.
Thanks, guys.
1, 2.